There is a very specific type of tension that fills a room when something vital breaks. Most people react with a flurry of noise. They vent their frustration, they grab their phones to find a professional, or they look around for someone to blame. But then there is the quiet master. He doesn't join the chaos. Instead, he undergoes a visible transformation. He steps toward the problem, and a peculiar silence falls over him. It isn't the silence of someone who is stumped. It is the silence of an elite predator tracking a scent. He isn't looking at the machine. He is listening to the story it's telling through its failure. We've all seen this man. He is the one who can walk into a situation of total technical or emotional collapse and without uttering a single word of complaint, begin the slow, methodical process of restoration. From the outside, his refusal to ask for help looks like a wall of ego or a stubborn lone wolf mentality. But as a psychologist, I can tell you that something much deeper is happening under the surface. This isn't about pride. It's about a rare psychological configuration known as cognitive autonomy. In an age where most men feel like passengers in their own lives, the quiet master is the one who has reclaimed the pilot's seat. Today we are going to dive into the internal architecture of the man who fixes everything, the hidden relational legacy that built him, and why his silence is actually his greatest strength. To understand the quiet master, you have to understand the internal locus of control. Most people today are victims of the black box era. They use tools they don't understand and live in systems they can't influence. When something goes wrong, their first instinct is to outsource the solution because they believe the power to fix things lies out there. The quiet master rejects this. To him, the world is not a series of mysteries. It is a series of interconnected systems. When he encounters a problem, his brain doesn't reach for a phone. It triggers a feedback loop. Psychologists call this systemizing. His brain is biologically optimized to identify the underlying rules of any environment. When he goes quiet, he is engaging in mental simulation. He is virtually taking the machine apart, checking every valve, every wire, and every logic gate against a massive internal database of past failures. He doesn't ask for help because at that moment, another person's voice is literally interference. It breaks the resolution of his internal map. He needs to experience the resistance of the problem personally because that resistance is the only data he trusts. Third, are algorithmic engagement. Trigger. If you've ever felt that strange calm click in your brain when you finally figure out a problem after hours of silence, comment the word solved below. I want to see how many of us use problem solving as a form of meditation. This psychological profile isn't something you're born with. It's something that is forged, usually in the shadow of a silent mentor. Think back to the archetype of the father or grandfather in the garage. There was no lesson plan. There were no long-winded explanations of theory. Instead, there was the heavy weight of a flashlight in your small hand and the unspoken requirement to be present. You learned through vicarious observation. You watched a man treat a problem with respect, patience, and a refusal to flinch. This creates what we call somatic markers, emotional associations with competence. You learned early on that a man's value isn't found in what he says, but in what he can do when the lights go out. For the quiet master, asking for help feels like breaking a sacred contract with that mentor. It feels like admitting that he hasn't inherited the strength to stand on his own. This relational hook is why these men are so reliable. They aren't just fixing a sink or a server. They are maintaining a lineage of self-sufficiency. They are proving over and over again that they are worthy of the tools they were handed. One of the primary reasons the quiet master never asks for help is that he has developed a deep, healthy distrust of received wisdom. We live in a world of expertise inflation, where everyone has an opinion but few have results. The quiet master, however, spends his time in the physical arena. Whether he's a coder, a mechanic, or a surgeon, he works in environments that provide absolute feedback. A bridge doesn't care about your intentions. A circuit board doesn't care about your status. It either works or it doesn't. This creates an epistemology of the hand. He trusts what he can verify through direct engagement. When he refuses to ask for help, it's often because he has seen the experts be wrong too many times. He has seen the manual miss the specific, gritty reality of the situation in front of him. By solving it himself, he is engaging in a truth-finding mission. This grounds him in a way that modern office life never can. In a world of digital fog and subjective truths, the quiet master finds his sanity in the objective reality of a solved problem. He is not being arrogant. He is being an empiricist. However, we must address the stakes and the hidden cost of this psychological mastery. When you are the man who never needs help, you inadvertently create a vacuum around yourself. This is the isolation of competence. Because you are so good at handling your own burdens, the people in your life, your spouse, your coworkers, your friends, eventually stop checking on you. They assume that because you can fix the world, you don't need anyone to help you carry it. This leads to a specific type of male burnout that is almost invisible. It's the exhaustion of being the universal anchor. The quiet master often feels he cannot afford a moment of weakness because he is the one the entire system relies on. This is a heavy psychological weight to carry in silence. He may be a master of the machine, but he is often a novice at expressing the need for support. If you are that man, you need to understand that interdependence is not the same thing as dependence. Allowing someone into your process isn't a sign of a broken system. It's how you prevent the system from collapsing under its own weight. As we move further into the 21st century, the quiet master is becoming the most valuable player in the economy. We are moving away from the I-shaped specialist who only knows one thing and toward the M-shaped master. This is a man who has deep vertical mastery in several technical fields, but uses a horizontal bridge of psychological intuition to connect them. He doesn't ask for help because he has mastered first principles thinking. He understands that the logic of the fix is universal. If you can diagnose a fuel injection system, you can diagnose a failing marketing funnel. And if you can stay calm while a pipe is bursting in your basement, you can stay calm during a corporate merger. He is the ultimate generalist because he has mastered the most important skill of all, the ability to remain untriggered by difficult. He is the calm at the center of the storm, not because he knows the answer, but because he trusts his process for finding it. So why does the quiet master never ask for help? Because he is busy building a version of himself that doesn't need to. He is fixing his own mind while he fixes the world. But remember, the highest level of mastery isn't just knowing how to work alone, it's knowing when the mission is too big for one pair of hands. Final algorithmic CTA, does the world need more quiet masters, or are we becoming too isolated in our self-sufficiency? If you believe that a man's greatest strength is his ability to figure it out himself, comment 1. If you think we need to get better at asking for help, comment 0. It was never about the broken thing in front of you. It was always about the architecture of the man you became while you were bringing it back to life. Keep the silence. Keep the focus. But don't forget to look up from the machine every once in a while to see who's standing there with you.